Do animals actually hunt humans? Or do we just tell scary stories because we hate admitting we are still made of meat? It sounds ridiculous at first. Most of us go through life completely separated from the food chain. We walk through cities. We sleep behind locked doors. We buy meat wrapped in plastic and forget that for most of Earth's history, every living thing was either trying to eat, trying not to be eaten, or both. And most animals really do want nothing to do with us. A bear usually wants space. A snake wants to be left alone. Even many big cats would rather avoid a human than risk getting hurt by something that tastes like regret and poor life choices. Most of the time, we are not prey. But that is not the whole story. Because in a few corners of the world, certain animals have learned something deeply uncomfortable. Humans can be prey. And once an animal figures that out, the relationship changes forever. This is not a story about the animals that kill the most people. Mosquitoes kill through disease. Snakes kill with venom. Hippos, elephants, and buffalo can be incredibly dangerous. But they usually attack because they feel threatened. This is different. This is about the animals that sometimes watch a human, study a human, follow a human, and make the same decision they would make with any other prey animal. Can I catch it? Can I overpower it? Is it worth the risk? And unfortunately for us, a few predators have decided the answer is sometimes yes. Here is the first rule. Just because an animal can kill you does not mean it wants to eat you. That distinction matters, because otherwise, the list gets weird very quickly. Mosquitoes kill more people than any other animal, but they are not out there planning dinner parties. They are dangerous because they spread disease, not because they are dragging anyone into the bushes. Dogs injure and sometimes kill people every year, but your golden retriever is not secretly planning to drag you into the backyard like a nature documentary villain. At worst, your dog is hunting your sandwich, possibly your socks, maybe the emotional stability of your Roomba. Hippos are another great example. Hippos are extremely dangerous, but they are not ambush predators sitting in the river thinking, "Today feels like a human day." Most hippo attacks happen because hippos are territorial, powerful, and deeply uninterested in your vacation plans. Elephants can kill people, buffalo can kill people, moose can kill people, even deer injure people in the right circumstances, which is honestly rude for an animal that looks like woodland decoration. But that is not hunting. That is conflict. A hunting animal is doing something different. It is not just reacting. It is making a calculation. It sees a living thing and decides that living thing might become food. And in either case, humans are a little embarrassing. Because compared to most predators, humans are physically ridiculous. No claws, no fangs, no armor, bad night vision, soft skin, slow sprint speed. A neck that seems designed by someone who did not expect large cats to exist. We are basically upright snacks with opinions. Which brings us to one of the most frightening groups of animals on Earth. Big cats. Because when a big cat decides a human might be prey, the problem is not just strength. It is patience. It is silence. It is timing. And sometimes, it is learning. Tigers are terrifying because they can disappear. A tiger can be massive, bright orange, striped, and still vanish into grass, jungle, or shadow like someone hit delete. Most tigers avoid humans. A tiger is powerful, but it is not stupid. Getting injured is dangerous for a predator that hunts alone. A deer with sharp hooves can hurt a tiger. A wild boar can hurt a tiger. A human with tools, fire, or friends can be a very bad afternoon. So, in most places, tigers avoid us. But not always. One of the most famous places where the rules feel different is the Sundarbans, the vast mangrove forest spread across parts of India and Bangladesh. The Sundarbans do not feel like a normal forest. They feel like nature built a maze and then flooded half of it. Mud, roots, islands, tides, creeks, dark water, thick vegetation, poor visibility. People enter this world to fish, gather honey, collect wood, and make a living in a place where the line between land and water is constantly moving. And inside that world lives the tiger. A predator strong enough to bring down large prey, quiet enough to approach without being seen, and comfortable enough in water that a person in a boat is not as safe as they might hope. That is a terrible surprise. Most people see water and think, at least the tiger is over there. The Sundarbans tiger says, cute theory. In this environment, humans can become vulnerable in ways they are not used to. A person focused on work may not see the tiger. A person moving through dense mangroves may not hear it. A person standing near a creek may not realize the tiger can approach from land, roots, or water. A tiger does not need to roar dramatically like in the movies. It just needs one quiet moment when you are focused on work instead of survival. Nature's version of don't text and walk. And unlike lions, a tiger does not need help. One tiger is enough. A tiger attack is built around surprise. It often comes from behind or from cover. The goal is not drama. The goal is efficiency. That is what makes tigers so unsettling. A crocodile feels like an ancient machine. A tiger feels like a ghost that made a decision. And once a tiger begins taking humans, the fear spreads beyond the attack itself. People still have to enter the forest. They still have to fish. They still have to gather honey. They still have to feed their families. That is the cruel reality of living beside a predator. The tiger does not have to come into the human world. Sometimes humans have to enter the tigers. Lions usually prefer their normal prey. Zebra, wildebeest, antelope, buffalo. Animals that evolved in the same open landscapes, with speed, horns, hooves, herds, and a deep suspicion of anything crouching in tall grass. Humans are not usually a lion's first choice, which feels nice. Not being someone's first choice is usually bad for dating, but excellent for surviving lions. Still, under certain conditions, lions have turned to humans. And when that happens, the stories become legendary. The most famous case happened in 1898 near Tsavo in Kenya during the construction of a railway bridge. Workers began disappearing from camps. Fear spread through the project. 2 male lions were blamed for killing workers over a period of months. Early stories claimed enormous death tolls. Modern research suggests the true number was likely lower, but still horrifying. What matters most is not only how many people were killed, it is what the lions appeared to learn. They learned that people were available. They learned that camps had routines. They learned that workers slept in predictable places. And once that happened, the railway was no longer just a construction project. It became a feeding opportunity. That is the frightening thing about predators. They do not need to understand humans the way we understand ourselves. They only need to know that soft animals are sleeping in tents. And lions are especially unsettling because they are social predators. A tiger is terrifying because it hunts alone. A lion is terrifying because it may not be alone at all. One lion can test. Another can circle. A pride can study weakness. Nothing says bad day, quite like realizing you are on the menu for a group chat. There are many reasons a lion might begin hunting humans. Injury can make wild prey harder to catch. Old age can make the chase more difficult. Disease can reduce natural prey. Human camps can create easy opportunities. People sleeping outside in predator country can become dangerously exposed. And then there is the uncomfortable truth. Humans can be easier than wild prey. A zebra kicks. A buffalo bites. A wildebeest runs with the herd. A sleeping person does none of those things. An awake human does not have horns or hooves. We have opinions, lower back pain, and a phone with 12% battery. Not exactly a buffalo. That does not mean lions usually prefer humans. They do not. But a predator does not need to prefer humans forever. It only needs to learn that, under the right circumstances, we can be caught. Leopards are not as large as lions or tigers. That almost makes them scarier, because a lion announces itself with size. A tiger dominates a forest by presence. A crocodile controls the edge of the water, but a leopard lives in the in-between places. The edge of the village, the tree line, the rocky hillside, the dark path, the roof. The leopard is one of the most adaptable big cats on Earth. It can live in forests, mountains, grasslands, and near human settlements. It can climb better than lions. It can hide better than almost anything its size. It can move through darkness like it pays rent there. That is why leopard attacks feel different. They do not always happen deep in some distant wilderness. Sometimes the wilderness is just outside the house. In parts of India and Nepal, leopards have been documented taking humans, especially where people and predators live close together. Children can be especially vulnerable. and nighttime can turn normal paths into dangerous ones. A leopard does not need to be the biggest predator in the world. It needs access. It needs cover. It needs one moment when no one is looking. That is the unsettling part. A leopard can live near people without being seen. It can learn the rhythm of a place. It can know when people walk, when livestock are tied up, when doors are open, when the village becomes quiet. And because leopards are strong climbers, even height does not always feel safe. They can drag prey into trees. They can move over walls. They can vanish after an attack so completely that people are left wondering how something so large was ever there. The leopard does not make humans feel small in a dramatic, roaring movie trailer way. It makes humans feel unsafe in familiar places. And that may be worse, because nobody wants to find out their neighborhood has a stealth mode. Big cats rarely hunt humans, but when they do, they can track, wait, stalk, and learn. On land, that is frightening enough. But at the water's edge, another danger lurks. One that does not need to follow you at all. Few animals on Earth are better designed to attack a human than crocodiles. Not because they specialize in hunting us, because they specialize in punishing anything that gets too close to the water. A crocodile does not usually track a human through the forest like a tiger. It does not follow footprints for miles or study your daily routine like a creepy neighbor with scales. It waits. That is the whole strategy. And unfortunately, it is a very good strategy. To a person, the river is useful. It is water, food, travel, bathing, fishing, washing, work, and sometimes the only practical place to live. To a crocodile, the riverbank is basically a drive-thru. Nile crocodiles and saltwater crocodiles are the main animals here. Both can grow enormous. Saltwater crocodiles can reach over 20 feet long in rare cases and weigh more than 2,000 pounds. Nile crocodiles can also grow very large, with big adults reaching around 16 feet or more. That is not a lizard. That is a couch with teeth. And crocodiles are strong enough to attack large mammals. Not just fish, not just birds. Large animals. Wildebeest, zebra, antelope, domestic cattle. Even buffalo can be attacked near the water. So when a human gets too close, the crocodile is not thinking, "What is this strange modern creature with taxes and dental insurance?" It is thinking the same thing it thinks when anything else steps into range. Meat is near water. Proceed. That is what makes crocodiles one of the clearest examples in this video. They may not hunt humans in the sense of tracking us across land, but they absolutely can attack and eat humans, the same way they would attack and eat another mammal that made one fatal mistake. A person bends down to wash clothes. A fisherman steps into the shallows. Someone collects water. A child plays too close to the bank. For a while, nothing happens. That is the worst part. The water looks still. The surface looks empty. Maybe there is a log floating nearby. Then the log blinks, and suddenly the river explodes. A crocodile attack is terrifying because it does not feel like a chase. It feels like the world itself opened up beneath you. The jaws close. The tail drives. The body twists. The water becomes the weapon. On land, a human has options. In the water, inside a crocodile's world, those options disappear very quickly. Crocodiles are not evil. They're not angry. They're not villains. They are ancient ambush predators, doing exactly what evolution built them to do. The problem is that sometimes what evolution built them to do includes us. Polar bears are different from almost every animal in this story. They do not live near most people. They do not usually share space with humans the way leopards, crocodiles, or some tigers can. But when humans and polar bears do meet, the situation can become uniquely dangerous. Because a polar bear lives in a world where food is hard to find. The Arctic is beautiful, but it is not gentle. Ice, water, wind, distance, hunger, waiting. A polar bear may travel huge distances looking for seals. Meals can be separated by long stretches of emptiness. In that world, checking out a possible food source is not weird behavior. It is survival, which is unfortunate if the possible food source is you. A polar bear that sees something unusual may investigate it. A smell, a movement, a camp. A person walking alone. A shape on the ice that is warm, slow, and clearly not built for the Arctic. And unlike many predators that live around humans, polar bears may not always have the same fear of people. To a polar bear, a human may not look like danger. A human may look like a poorly dressed, slow-moving seal with anxiety issues. That is not great. This is what makes polar bears so frightening. Some predators attack because they are surprised. Some attack because people get too close. Some attack because they are defending territory or young. But a hungry polar bear may approach because it is considering a very simple question. Could this be food? That question is terrifying because the answer depends on distance, timing, visibility, and whether the human sees the bear soon enough. A polar bear does not need to be angry. It does not need to hate humans. It does not need to be a horror movie villain. It may simply be hungry in one of the harshest environments on Earth. And when one of the largest land predators on the planet starts investigating you, that is not the moment to explain that humans are technically very important. The bear is not impressed by LinkedIn, or your 5-year plan, or the fact that you were just about to get your life together. To a polar bear, that is not relevant data. This is where the story gets complicated, because some of the animals people fear most are not always the animals most likely to truly hunt us. Take sharks. Sharks terrify people because they attack from below, live in water, and have been followed around by scary music since the 1970s. And yes, shark attacks happen. Some are fatal, some are horrifying. But many shark bites appear to be investigative rather than true human hunting. A shark may mistake a swimmer or surfer for something else, bite, and then leave when it realizes this strange floating creature is not the fatty seal meal it was hoping for, which is not comforting. That is like being taste tested by a swimming steak knife. Congratulations, you failed the taste test. It's still a terrible day, but it is different from a predator deliberately stalking humans as a regular prey source. Bears are complicated too. A bear can absolutely kill a human. A grizzly defending cubs is extremely dangerous. A surprised bear can attack with incredible force. Black bears can occasionally behave in a predatory way. Polar bears are the clearest bear species where predatory attacks become a major concern. But many bear attacks are defensive. The bear is not always thinking, food. Sometimes it is thinking, you are too close. You strange upright granola bar. Wolves are even more complicated. Historically, wolves have attacked and sometimes killed humans, especially in places and times where people were more exposed, wolves were more common, and disease like rabies could play a role. But today, healthy wild wolves usually avoid humans. Modern wolf attacks are rare compared to the fear they inspire. That is the strange thing about human fear. We are not always afraid in proportion to reality. We fear sharks because we cannot see beneath the water. We fear wolves because old stories taught us to fear the forest. We fear bears because they look like they could open a car door if they cared enough. But the animals most likely to truly hunt humans are not always the ones with the biggest reputation. They are the ones with the right combination: opportunity, strength, stealth, access, hunger, and sometimes experience. So why does it happen? Why would an animal that normally avoids humans begin hunting them? The answer is rarely simple. Sometimes the animal is injured. A lion with damaged teeth may struggle to catch normal prey. A tiger with an injury may find humans easier than deer or wild pigs. A predator that cannot do what he used to do may look for a slower target. And humans, unfortunately, are not exactly known for our elite escape speed. Nobody watches the Olympics and says, "Amazing, that man could outrun a tiger." Sometimes the environment changes. Prey disappears, forests shrink, rivers become crowded, farms push into wild habitat. People enter places where large predators still hunt. Sometimes the animal gets old, speed fades, strength changes, hunting natural prey becomes harder. Sometimes humans create the opportunity without meaning to. People sleep outside. People walk alone at night. People wash clothes at riverbanks. People work in forests. People leave food waste near camps. People bring livestock into predator territory. People move through animal habitat every day because survival requires it. And sometimes, the animal learns. That may be the most frightening reason of all. A predator does not need to understand humans deeply. It does not need to know our names, jobs, dreams, passwords, or why we keep taking pictures of coffee. But it can learn patterns. It can learn that one kind of prey is easier than another. This is not intelligence in the villain sense. It is survival. But survival can still be terrifying when you are the thing being evaluated. Because the moment a predator stops seeing humans as strange and starts seeing humans as possible, the balance changes. Fear moves. And yet, despite all of this, humans usually win. Humans became the apex predator because we move in groups, make tools, learn from mistakes, and teach the next generation what the last generation barely survived. That is the real advantage. A tiger does not usually attack an entire village. It attacks someone alone in a forest. A lion does not usually charge into a crowd of armed people. It picks off the one who wandered away, slept outside, or became isolated at the wrong moment. When predators fight groups of humans, they are usually not hunting the group. They are fighting for their lives. The hunt usually happens when the human advantage disappears. No group, no warning, no fire, no wall, no one close enough to help. That is why most modern humans do not think about being prey. We have not been prey in daily life for a very long time. We live inside a world built by other humans, protected by other humans, and shaped by human memory. We know which rivers are dangerous because someone learned. We know which forests are dangerous because someone returned with the story, or did not return at all. And because that world works so well, we forget the basic truth underneath it. Compared to many animals, we are weak. So, do animals hunt humans? Most do not. Most animals avoid us, fear us, misunderstand us, or only attack when something has gone wrong. But a few animals are different. A crocodile waiting at the riverbank, a tiger moving through the mangroves, a leopard watching the edge of a village, a lion that has learned humans are easier than antelope, a polar bear crossing an empty field of ice. They remind us of something civilization makes easy to forget. Our greatest defense is not really our body. It is everything around our body. Take all of that away, and a lone human becomes much less impressive. Still clever, still dangerous with tools, but also kind of squishy. And in some places, predators have noticed. Humans did not escape the food chain. We built a world that keeps most of it outside. And every once in a while, something gets back in.